Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you happen to be new, we're grateful that you're here. And today we're going to be talking about our little betta fish, clown puke, and his enclosure. But throughout our time here on YouTube, we have built all kinds of crazy enclosures for betta fish, like this budget $70 build with a waterfall. We've even done a betta bowl using the Wallstead method, meaning that there is no fertilization, no filter, no heater, and this thing is doing fantastic. But what we're going to be talking about today is this aquascape right here that clown puke has been living in for some time now. If you happen to be new and you've never seen clown puke, this is clown puke, and you can see why he gets his name. But unfortunately, this is one of those videos I really do not like to have to make, but it's necessary, and I like to be open, transparent, and honest about what goes on in the fish room. So let's get into this. Well guys, there's certain types of videos that just come up that you don't want to have to make, but you have to make, and that's this video. It's one of those videos. I don't want to make this video, but I have to, because one is I want to be honest and transparent with all of my subscribers. So when I have an animal die, I'm not going to hide that from you. I need you to understand that it's occurred and what I'm doing going forward to prevent it from happening again. And unfortunately, today's video is about that. So let's just go ahead and get this guy out of his tank and see what we can figure out. So I don't know if you could notice when I picked this guy up, the Java fern in the back here was lifting with it, and I couldn't understand why, and eventually I just had to lift the whole Java fern and the fish out, and I almost instantaneously knew what was wrong. And let's take a look at what was wrong and what ended up killing this fish. So it's standard practice in the aquarium hobby to tie your Java ferns to rocks, and that's what I did. And apparently I didn't do a very good job of tying it because the string came loose. And unfortunately, what looks like occurred was he was swimming down in this corner of the tank and got tangled in the piece of string and was unable to get loose, because as you could see when I was pulling him away from this plant, he was tangled up in the string that was holding the Java fern to the rock. So I'm heartbroken because this was totally my fault, and it was completely avoidable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I remove this Java fern from the rock, and we'll put it back in there without the rock. But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about little clown puke, and that makes me sad because he was like my favorite betta. I got him from Ben at Aquashella, and his blue eyes, like, it's sad. It's also a common practice with Java ferns that when they sell Java ferns, they are actually tied together with a piece of string. And it's actually to give them the illusion that it's a bigger Java fern than it actually is. It's not all attached by the rhizome. So we take the string off here, and what we find is we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Java ferns that have been bound together to make it look like one big Java fern. Now, for that many leaves, you would have the rhizome, which this fleshy area here. This rhizome would actually be about 2.5 inches long or so, and it would have all of these leaves growing off of it. What you want to make sure of is that that string that's holding these together is really tight and it cannot break loose, or otherwise you could end up having a situation like I just had. So unfortunately this is my fault and it could have been avoided, but it is what it is, and I hate to lose a fish, but it just sometimes happens. So at least now I know why and I can do something to avoid it. So this could have been totally avoided. I should have glued that Java fern to that rock instead of tying it, but I can't change that now. So unfortunately we've lost this fish, but at least we've learned a lesson from it and we won't allow this to happen again. So like I said, I've removed that string from that Java fern and placed it back into the tank. I just tucked it up underneath the piece of driftwood that's in here when I put it back together. So what I'd like to do now is I want to go ahead and clean this tank out. It needs a good water change because unfortunately he was in there for at least a day before I realized it. I had just fed him the night before. He's usually one of those fish that's right at the front of the tank when you walk in because he's always hungry, and he wasn't there, and when I didn't see him I just felt like the worst and was going to happen, and unfortunately that was the case. I do need to do a big water change on this thing, get the water parameters back to normal because this is an established planted tank and there are other fish in there. So let's go ahead and get that done. Alright guys, well this thing is completely cleaned out and everything is looking good again. We have some Christmas moss here in the front. We have some Temple compacta that's actually right here underneath this driftwood that is coming back. When I moved the driftwood earlier to find clown puke, I noticed it was growing up underneath it, but I have pulled that out to the front so we can get some light, so that's coming back, which looks good. We have some Rotala rotundifolia that's right there. We have a banana plant and a bulb. I don't remember which bulb this is, but then we have some hornwort in here. We have a nice big Anubias coffifolia. We have a whole bunch of Amazon frogbit, as well as some jungle val back there. We have our Java fern that's back up in here in the corner that is no longer attached to a rock or have any string around it. So overall this tank is looking fantastic. I also removed one other Java fern from behind this piece of driftwood and removed the string and rock from that as well, but everything is looking good in this tank. So my question is to you. I am not going to break this tank down. One of my favorite tanks that I have. It's the most established. The plant growth in here is fantastic, so I don't want to break it down. I do want to add another fish or fish to it, so my question to you is what should we go back into this tank with? Your first choice is going to be this epic looking metallic placket betta. And this thing looks so cool. I mean, if you look at it, it's half like white metallic and half translucent pink. Super cool fish. So we can go in here with that, or this tank is actually, I mean, a perfect setup for breeding something in it, some kind of live bear. So we could also go in here with a live bear. And I'm thinking more specifically, these pineapple swords. I've never kept swords on YouTube or in the fish room, and I'm thinking swords would be a really cool option, and these are super cool looking swords. But we could put those guys in here and they could breed in here, or we can put the betta in here. Or if you have some other type of idea, make sure you comment below and let me know. But I would greatly appreciate your input and feedback on that. Also, if you need any plants that you see here, we sell all of these on our website, freshwaterscrub.com. So make sure you check it out and use the code BETTA for 10% off. With that, you know, I would really greatly appreciate it if you guys would participate and let me know down in the comments what you think we should put back in this tank, whether it be another betta fish or these pineapple swords. birds. So make sure you do that. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notification bell. I would greatly appreciate it, and I'm super grateful for all your support. And don't forget to check out freshwaterscrub.com for all your aquatic plant needs and use the code betta for 10% off your order. Thank you so very much for coming and watching my videos and liking and commenting. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Links to both are in the description below. And with that, hey, we'll see you next time.